Hello, my name is Erika and I'm going to show you how to do something like this, as in use an image to create the silhouettes of the model, and then you can add some thickness to it and sculpt it to add some bevel or detail on it as you prefer. This can work with any kind of picture as long as it's something that can be vectorized, and what that needs is that it has to be a black and white picture. So for doing that, you're gonna need a Blender and vector software. I usually use Illustrator from Adobe, but for this video I'm gonna be using Inkscape because it's a free software, open source, that anybody can get, and it's easier on the computer than Illustrator. So let's start. So you have your scene. First I'm going to show you how some people might think would be a good idea to do, and it will work, but it will take you so much longer to do that than just do this way that I'm going to show you. So you have your picture here, right? It's black and white. In this case it's transparent and black, and then you say, sure, I'm just gonna create a plane and just follow the silhouette, right? And I can do it. Sure, you can do it. It's gonna take you ages. Now the correct way to do this would be to bring your picture over here in Inkscape. You do file, open, you import your PNG or JPG. You say okay. I don't know why it does that every time. Once you have your picture here, you go to path and then trace bitmap, and this will appear. It might appear here or it might appear as a window, but you can, if you have a window, you can just drag it here if you like, and it should work. Again, I am not very familiarized with it, so I'm not sure how I did it the first time, but it doesn't really matter. The important thing here is that you can trace this. So you can see the details here that looks kind of blurry. Now I'm gonna press OK, and it kind of changes because it creates me this second picture here, and this is the original one. So you see the difference between blurriness and super clean edges. So this is because this picture is made with pixels, while this one is made with vectors. So you can close this now if you like. So for you to understand vectors, I'm going to show you how it's made. So each of these points act kind of like vertices in 3D, but this is completely 2D. However, you can even create pictures like this in 3D. I can quickly show you. So you add a curve and a bezier. I'm gonna let you see my keys. You can see here in the left bottom screen what keys I'm pressing. So this is a bezier curve in Blender, which you don't need to know much about right now. I just want to introduce them to you. And you can like move these things so that the line follows through, right? So this is kind of like a vector. They work in the same way. The beautiful things about vectors is that you can modify their size and it will never look, what happened here? It will never look bad. You can stretch it, you can make it super small, and it will look fine. The line's gonna stay like that because it's vectors, not pixels. So now that we have a clear understanding of what vectors are and why they're beautiful, we can save this file, save as SVG, scalable vector graphics. You save it, and then actually we can close this now. We come to Blender, File. Oh, I already have it here. If you don't have it here, you go to Edit, Preferences. You make sure that you're on Add-ons over here, and here in the search bar, you type SVG, and then these two options are going to appear. You only need the first one, Import Export Scalable Vector Graphics. You make sure that's on, and then you just close it. We're back here in your scene, File, Import, SVG, and then you look for your file, the same one that we saved earlier, import. Now you're gonna have this thing here. It will automatically come with a material that is black and reflective, but I find it hard to work with, so I personally always take it off. And you say, well, I'm done, I have that model here, now what? Okay, well, first of all, you're still working with a vectorized image. It's still kind of like a big Bezier curve. If you see here in your menu, you can see that it has the same icon as this other one, because it's also a curve. It's not a mesh. So in order to convert this into a mesh, we're going to select it in object mode, and you can make sure you're in object mode here. Go into object, convert to mesh. Then if you go into edit mode, we tab edit mode here. You can see these weird lines that look like something is going on there, and if you go back to object mode, it looks like everything is fine, right? So maybe those lines should not be worried about, but that's not the truth. You need to worry about those lines, because if we add thickness to it, go into the modifiers tab over here, add modifier, generate, solidify, and we increase the thickness. You can see how these lines are creating right here. That means it is precisely because of, let me show you, I think this will be a good one, how these lines overlap with each other, and they're creating some bugs in there. You see how this looks like not a good geometry. So an easy way to fix this is in edit mode, select everything with A, and then go to face, beautify faces, and then it might not be as beautiful as you were promised, but it's way better than it was before, right? And the things over here are gone. You have a very nice flat picture. Now we can start sculpting on this. So you apply this. If you don't apply it and you go into sculpt, you're not gonna be able to modify this. It's just, it won't work. So make sure to be in object mode, you apply it, and then go to sculpt mode. And now if you start just working on this, you're gonna notice that it doesn't look very good, and that is probably not doing what you're expecting it to, right? So the reason is because with just like these settings, the default ones, you're only moving vertices around, you're not really creating any. So I can show you. So here are the vertices, and you're just moving them around. So in order for us to add more as we work, we use this beautiful tool that Blender made for us called Topo. It comes from Dynamic Topology. And once it's turned on, you can create some vertices as you work. It might take a little bit the first time because it's like computing all this stuff. There you go. It's much better. So the lower this number is, the more detailed these vertices are gonna get. Because I'm recording my screen and I cannot record it while using my good graphics card. I cannot really show you the small detail, but I can show you making it bigger, how it makes like bigger triangles. So usually what I do, let's hide this wireframe again, is going into the clay brush. I put strength at almost 0 because I don't want to move the vertices around. I just want to be affected by the brush. I'm gonna put a little bit of auto smooth, and then I'm just gonna go shoot through the edges here. They're gonna make it super nice, right? Like if you had a smaller thin topo value, then it will be like smoother, but most of the times you don't really need a lot of the detail that you think you will, because for example, if this was for printing, depending on the size of how big or small it's gonna be printed is how much detail you are. If it's gonna be for games, then this is probably gonna become a normal map of something, right? So you will use smooth shading, and when you use that, you don't really see those triangles anymore. You just like look at it smooth. And these things that get created are because of how the difference of topology is meeting together, okay? So let's go back into the flat shading so you can see better what's going on. Now, you may say, well, what's that for? Why can I not use a smoothing tool, right? For those of you that are familiarized with this. Let me make sure these are on again. So if you shift to use a smooth brush, or you use like click here, you will see in the ones that you haven't done this technique that I mentioned, it will look bad and it's just gonna be a mess, because the smoothing brush and the smoothing tool, which are kind of the same thing, they're not affected by thin topo. They do not create any dynamic topology, so you have to do that with another brush, and that's why I use clay with no strength. I just move anything, a little bit of auto smooth, and then it will just create it. If I don't wanna, so see how this corner was completely ruined. So if I come closer, which is also going to add a little bit of detail to my brush, the amount of detail is affected by where your camera is. If I'm like super far away and I modify, it's gonna be super big triangles. But if I come, I'm gonna control set that, it's gonna a little bit. If I come like super closer, it's gonna be smaller. This is affected in here. The measure brush size relative to the view of the scene, which is your camera, or here. So it's always the same no matter where you are. It will be affected by the scale of your object. So just to keep that in mind. I usually just cover it in view and keep in mind how far I am from the model that I'm using, that I'm modifying. So anyway, back to where we were doing. So you smooth the corners as you please, right? And then once you have the corners smooth, I don't know, you can do the clay strips and move like this. This is really depending on your model. Like from this point on, you can sculpt as you prefer, and that is a completely new topic that will take me another explanation to do, and there's a time in 15 minutes. So there you have it. If you like to see how it could look like, I have this picture. So here's the other one that I showed. Remember how I mentioned that the amount of detail sometimes it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be seeing it. So imagine if you're like making this for a ring. That's what I did this model for. This is like the amount of triangles that you are looking at in your screen are not going to be visible to the eye, or it's not going to even be printed. So even for games, like what I mentioned about like smoothing it out, don't force your computer to create a super high poly model when you're sculpting for no apparent reason, because you're just gonna bring trouble and headaches to yourself when your computer stops reacting to what you're doing and you have to wait a few minutes for every stroke. So yeah, that's some just extra tips about sculpting. Okay, so well, I hope you liked it and that it was helpful for you. Cheers.